Everything is awesome, according to the Democrats. The party of pronouns is spiking the football on the Biden presidency, even as Americans cry uncle.
The president likes to say it is never a good bet to bet against the American people, and he is right. But what I want to say today is it is never a good bet to bet against Joe Biden and this team. Never, ever a good bet.
I'm saying to people that Joe Biden has earned another term.
Now, you can use whatever train metaphor you want, anyone you want, but get on the Joe Biden Express now, because we are not stopping.
Except to the restroom. Sorry, Chuck. Looks like the Biden Express is going off the rails. 73% of Americans say they are dissatisfied with how things are going in the country. But the New York Times bearded nitwit Paul Krugman thinks people are too stupid to understand their own finances. Quote, will Americans even notice an improving economy, end quote. Well, Jesse, 7 out of 10 people, that's, can you figure 70?
Give me a second.
Yeah,
Hold on, they're going to pull this up.
Yeah, 70%.
We're gonna go 70%.
About 70%. Yeah.
Give or take.
When I heard that, I thought, wow, that's really low, right? Where are the 30% that think he's doing a great job? Because I haven't met them. And as you know, I'm a man of the people.
You live downtown. I'm sure you've run into a few of those people.
I live amongst Biden. No, there's nobody. Even Biden supporters don't support him.
All right, well, I'll find some if you give me a mic. Biden is in deeper trouble than everybody realizes. These investigations are going to be nasty. You got House Republicans, you have a special counsel, you have Hunter blowing up, and it's not looking good. Also, the far left's on the march. You have Liz Warren taking shots at Kamala Harris, and then Bernie's got a book out and he's going on tour. That means he might run for president. The economy, they say, is going into a light recession, and Vladimir Putin's about to throw 500,000 soldiers at Ukraine during the spring fighting season. And then the guy skipped his physical and covered it up. And lastly, his legislative agenda is grinding to a dead stop in Congress. I'm not seeing great stuff on the horizon. Maybe these guys are taking pills I don't know about.
Oh, I wish. Dana, I feel like their slogan is, it could have been worse, right?
Well, that's constant, right? They would love to run against President Trump every day, just to say, but not as bad as that in their minds. This is also very interesting timing. You have a change in the chief of staff. Ron Klain, look, give him his due. He won in the tug-of-war of President Biden wanting to be very empathetic and Klain wanting to tell everybody that everything is great, everything is fine. And you know what? Afghanistan was the biggest airlift in history. And you will like this economy. You will love it. It's going to be great. And you find out that the train that they're talking about stops at inflation station. And it's a runaway situation. We have recession on the horizon. Maybe it's not going to be that bad. So I do think Republicans need to be thinking about this, right? Because the Democrats are trying to say that any economic woe that you have right now goes back to the 2017 Trump tax cuts. It's nonsense, but that's what they're saying. They're forgetting the spending of COVID under both presidents. They're forgetting the Inflation Reduction Act, even though that was the Inflation Promotion Act and also the Environmental Inflation Act. I do think, though, that this change in the chief of staff, you could see a messaging change as well, because now you have all these investigations like he's talking about, and you have a situation with a Republican House. So I don't think you're going to hear all happy talk, except for on Tuesday when the president gives the State of the Union. Then after that, maybe not.
Geraldo, what do you see in this conflict between what they're saying and the reality around them?
Well, I don't see the reality as quite the gap, the reality gap quite as profoundly as you lay it out. I don't think there's going to be a recession, a meaningful recession. I think that Afghanistan in a few months will be regarded as, thank God we're not still stuck there. And I think that when you see James Clyburn there, the South Carolina congressman, he gave the nomination to Joe Biden right there, the renomination to Joe Biden, and that's it. The rest is just going to be noise. Joe Biden's going to be running for re-election, and in my opinion, he will be running against Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is very difficult to beat. And if you look at any survey of the internal Republican numbers, he's the candidate. It's going to be a rematch, two old-timers, and maybe I'm the only one that can, like, translate for them.
Oh, man, there's going to be a
Which do you speak, old-timers?
Old-timers.
That debate stage is going to smell of Relief Factor, which, by the way, really works. Sponsored by
Which is the one that
Balance
doesn't
of Nature.
There's one of them that doesn't stink. There's some advertiser that said it doesn't stink.
That's their logo. It doesn't stink.
Is that their logo? Okay. You want to know what I think? This is what I think. I think they really have to get themselves all hyped up to come out and say, you know what? There's so much enthusiasm in this country. It's wonderful, and there's not going to be a recession and all that. And Geraldo, you know, whether you think it or not, look, I'm not an economist, I don't know. But what I do know is that when 81% of people think the state of our union is dysfunctional and they're dissatisfied with it, up from 71% 2 years ago, and, you know, a sizable majority rate economic conditions negatively, 80%, that people who make something like, what is it, $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck, and that's 64% of Americans. You can call it a good day or you can call it a recession. They don't care what you call it.
Right.
Eggs are too much. Gas is too much. Biden can say he brought the prices of gas down, but it's still higher than when Trump was there. And everybody who was in the fossil fuel business knows that everything is going to stay high because we've got to start buying everything else from other countries.
Yep.
And in the end, no matter how energetic they are, we're still in a mess, and they know it. And the Republicans, and I have to say this, I was very impressed with Kevin McCarthy yesterday when he came out of that meeting with the president. And they said, what did you talk about? He said, I'm not going to tell you what we talked about. He was respecting that communication and that conversation. But even more than that, he talked about the possibility of actual cooperation. And every American, if you felt like I did, was like, oh, my God, maybe we can come together. And if they don't come out with something like Dobbs that was really what jackpotted us in terms of the midterms, then maybe we will do well and Americans will vote the way they feel.
Let's come together, Geraldo.
Okay, let's go kumbaya. Come on, Jesse, all together.
All right, well.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.